Okay guys, just before we get started, I'd just like to correct an omission from part 1 and mention the video game Spider-Man from the upcoming PS4 exclusive. Now looking at this figure, it's quite eye-catching. The reds and blues are offset by the large spider emblem, which actually balances out the figure, giving him an almost American flag motif. Again, like the Homecoming suit, it appears to have the same strengths and weaknesses when posing. The print on the fabric is clean and blue and has a fine textured pattern that stops it looking too simplified. The swappable eyes of previous Deadpool and Spider-Man figures is back, and it has some nice webbing and spider sense attachments that's bound to be connected to the gameplay features. Honestly, this is one of the nicest designed suits I think I've seen of Spider-Man, and I'm glad Hot Toys have put him up for sale. I'm not so sold on the Spider-Punk though. It's clear it's something to do with either the Spider-Verse or the DLC variants in the game. But considering there is likely to be a lot of different suits, why they didn't jump on the Venom bandwagon, as there is bound to be a DLC version of that suit in the game. Obviously they're only, made privy to what Sony is willing to tell them, but a black Spider-Man with that huge white spider emblem on it is just begging to be made. Anyway, on with the Star Wars figures. Oh, I've got a really good intro for this. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, a toy company called Hot Toys decided to start making Star Wars figures, and they were, by all standards, the best that have ever been made. The fans rejoiced. Well, most did. Some just made bad YouTube videos bitching about it because they were total man babies with very small... Hey, who the fuck wrote this? Alright guys, I know what you came for, I know what you want. Darth Maul. Possibly the only good thing about episode 1 was the red-faced, spiky-headed apprentice of Darth Sidious. Hot Toys have finally gotten around to start churning out prequel figures, and this is definitely the most wanted character people keep asking for in forums and on social media from those movies. So to ensure they did it justice, Hot Toys have decided to release it as a DX figure, which, as we all know, means they usually bring their A game. He's going to come with 2 separate head sculpts, 2 sets of red lightsaber blades, a saber hilt, a pair of binoculars, a special edition hologram of himself, and various sets of hands with a dynamic posing stand. The Sith Speeder Special Edition comes with everything mentioned, plus a replica of the speeder he used on Tatooine. The head sculpts look crazy detailed. There's no mistaking that it's Darth Maul, and the clothing looks detailed and layered. The fact he wears loose clothing suggests he will be highly poseable, and this, added with the 2 head sculpts with movable eyes, suggests this isn't one you'll get bored of looking at anytime soon, as the ability to repose him will always give you a fresh new look on him. Considering that this is a DX, if you buy the basic version, he will be lacking in accessories, and this is usually where the DX figures used to shine the most. No doubt people who love Darth Maul will definitely pick this up, as the paint app in the face is going to be something very special, and make this an essential purchase. Me personally, I'm not a big fan of the prequels, and although Darth Maul does look very cool, I did find him a little bit flat in the movie. He tended to appear once in a while, but he'd then disappear only to reappear and have a bit more of a lightsaber fight and go again. But I think this is great news for the fans. I think they're going to absolutely love the fact that they're going to get a Darth Maul figure, and not just a Darth Maul figure, but a DX figure to boot. And then they teased Commander Cody from Revenge of the Sith, which looks good, and one of the bonuses of the prequels was the chance to add variation and colour to the armours, so fans of these style clone troopers will be very happy to see him. Weathering looks great, and I hope it carries over to the final product. They also showed an airborne trooper from that film too, and all the positives and hopes that I have for Cody I convey onto this figure as well. Speaking of the prequels, they also showed off Obi-Wan Kenobi from Revenge, which will go great with Anakin, and his likeness to Ewan McGregor is spot on. The robes are tailored to a higher standard as per usual, and they've managed to keep the bulk of the fabric down as much as possible. For the best effect, he'd probably go great with the Toys Fairs exclusive Dark Side Anakin. However, he would still look great as a standalone character in his own right. Ewan did something quite special in the prequels, and that was to come out unscathed. He is almost as well known for Obi-Wan as Alec Guinness now, and is a highlight from the prequels for a lot of people. Speaking of beloved characters, Princess Leia is proving that she can hold her own in the 1/6 scale market. The untimely passing of Carrie Fisher was sad, and people truly are grateful that Hot Toys are acknowledging her part in the success of Star Wars. Bespin Leia is the third iteration by the Premier 1/6 company to get officially announced. They have teased a fourth with Ender Leia, which is an inevitable release, but for the time being remains a Comic-Con prototype. Bespin Leia has a simple and elegant costume, which she wore during the scenes on Cloud City. It's not as iconic as her hair buns and robe of A New Hope, or the Hoth suit from the opening of Empire, but it does seem as if Hot Toys are releasing a few of the costumes in chronological order. It's a shame that they decided to bypass the medal giving gown in A New Hope, but I suspect they have to have something for future Toy Fair exclusives lying in wait. But it is a pretty nice variant, something major fans of the first sequel, or Leia nuts, will love to get their hands on. I don't see this one coming with much more than a few hands and a stand, but that's okay, as I suspect this one may have a smaller run. However, it does suggest we may see a Bespin Lando appearing sometime in the future too, which will excite quite a few people in the groups. It would be awesome if she came with bits of C-3PO wrapped up in a net to go onto the back of Chewbacca, but that's most likely going to be a variant figure itself. Speaking of the overtly camp protocol droid, he was teased too, along with R2-D2. This is the version from Attack of the Clones. It's not the most loved movie in the franchise by fans, but Empire magazine did notoriously give it a 5-star rating when it was released, putting it at the same level of Ben-Hur, The Dark Knight, The Godfather and The Shawshank Redemption. Now, I'm just going to let that sink in for a minute. The fucking Godfather. He looks fantastically weathered though, and probably the most beat up he has ever looked in the movies. I'm already happy with the Sideshow C-3PO, so I won't need to grab this one, but knowing Hot Toys, he'll likely be a superb version of the character. Yawn at their excellence. R2-D2 on the other hand, I'm massively interested in. This looks to have a lot going on, with gadgets and doodads popping out of every conceivable compartment. There's no telling if these will be attachments or parts you can push in and out readily. Looking at the pics, I suspect a mix of both, but I hope they try and incorporate as many as they can into the tiny R2 droid, so that we don't have to fuss with too much attachment storing. This would be super handy for reposing on the fly and not having to resort to finding all the parts first to make a change. Again, I have no doubt he'll be nicely weathered, and the holograms of Leia are a great touch for specific scene posing. They have avoided the sail barge specific accessories, most likely because Sideshow already made a competent version of it, but it would be nice if there was a deluxe version with those attachments included. Okay, let's jump back to prequel territory as we look at Boba's dad, Jango Fett. One of the biggest issues fans had of the original trilogy special editions was the incorporation of Jango's voice over Boba Fett's very minimal lines. I agree. I grew tired of the unnecessary updates, and I much prefer the original voice actor, as he has a somewhat more menacing voice, and the mystery of what he looked like under the helmet was part of the allure. To realise he's just another clone trooper underwhelms a bit, but then Jango was announced and I was very interested in the character due to the paint variation armour that made him look more sleek and sophisticated. The scene between him and Obi-Wan was a welcome addition in Attack of the Clones. This figure has a nice paint app, and as they have competently made Boba, this should be an easy win for Hot Toys. Fans should be very pleased with this one when it's released. And finally, what's a Hot Toys Comic Con display without a Vader? Hot Toys have announced a 1/4 scale Vader, and that should please a lot of the 1/4 scale nuts in the community, as this looks like an absolute winner. The suit will no doubt be stunningly recreated, as will the helmet, and the extras will ensure you can get so many different poses out of him you should never tire of owning this piece. The removable helmet to reveal the head of Sebastian Shaw can only be applauded, as for me, this is the unmasked Vader I know and love. All of the lights that you would expect to see on this suit seem to work, and the details hidden under the helmet look to be extensive, so don't be surprised if, when people come to see your figure, that you find yourself removing that helmet quite a lot. I mostly collect 1/6 scale and below, but even I am sorely tempted to pre-order this figure. He's going to be standing at 50 centimeters tall even without the stand, so you will need a place to house him effectively, as this is going to command attention and will likely be a centerpiece to any Star Wars collection. He's even going to come with a light up stand for the helmet and a replaceable glove that depicts the moment Luke returns the favor and lops his hand off. If you're a Star Wars fan and have the space to display him, I recommend you pre-order ASAP. Okay guys, that's it. That is the Star Wars video. I'm trying to do these as quickly as I can just because, you know, it takes a lot of time to make these videos. And I know loads of people just stick a load of photos out and then just do a quick voiceover. But I like to, you know, get my words right and say everything I want to say about things and do it in the proper way. So it does take me a little while longer to do these videos. But hopefully you do enjoy them, and if you do, please like and subscribe and then share the video wherever possible. Now if you could do me a favor guys, get the fuck out of my cave. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.